How's it going, everyone? My name is Elijah King, my voice is finally back, and I'm excited to start this week's holiday wrap-up video. I'm not just excited for the video, however, I'm also enthusiastic, eager, and delighted for our first holiday, Thesaurus Day on January 18th. Thesaurus Day is awesome, boss, cool, dynamic, epic. Fantastic, great, hunky-dory, intense, joyful. This could go on a while. The reason that Thesaurus Day is all of these things is because it gives you the chance to seem so much smarter than you actually are. Before you speak, quickly look up each word and pick the one that sounds the smartest. You'll seem smarter, guaranteed. Or, ahead of modulation, rapidly behold your respective utterances. Furthermore, select the entry which appears most impertinent. You'll convey genius, word of honor. I went to the store to buy bread, eggs, and bologna becomes... I absconded towards the repository in order to acquisition, provisions, embryos, and bologna. Do you want to go and grab lunch becomes... Would you incline to depart in conjunction with procuring luncheon? I love the new cotton towels in your guest washroom becomes... I cherish the uncontaminated material liquid absorbers located within the confines of your visitor lavatory. I lost my cat, Mr. Mittens becomes... I misplaced my feline, Master Gauntlet. But you've got to be careful, vigilant, and alert while doing this because it doesn't always work. I looked at the word good in the thesaurus, and one of the synonyms listed was bad. When a word's synonym is the exact opposite of its definition, I literally don't know what to believe anymore. Now you know how to sound more smarter on Thesaurus Day, but I've still got a few more kernels of wisdom for our next holiday, National Popcorn Day on January 19th. I knew this day would pop up sooner or later. That was a bit corny. Truth be told, I don't have much to say about popcorn because I almost never eat it. And not just because when I eat it, I throw it up in the air and it ends up missing my mouth. I don't eat much popcorn because I almost never go to the movie theater. We're almost through January and I've seen a total of one movie. I saw The Interview, and the only reason I was excited for that was because I could wear my Kim Jong-un shirt. And now Oscar nominations just came out and I have no idea what anyone else is talking about. I also don't know what anyone else is talking about when they bring up the subject of segues. January 20th is Penguin Awareness Day. You're thinking, oh cool, a day about penguins. But don't get too excited because immediately afterwards is Squirrel Appreciation Day on the 21st. Which is wrong in every way. Why do squirrels get a day of appreciation but penguins just get a day of awareness? Especially when penguins are obviously so much better than squirrels. In fact, I feel so strongly about this that I made a whole nother video that I'll link to at the end. But to sum it up, penguins beat those stupid tree rats any day of the week and are vastly more deserving of a day of appreciation. The only bad thing I've heard about penguins is that they occasionally quarrel with Batman. But a bat is basically just the same thing as a squirrel, in other words, not a very unbiased source. If you do want to show your appreciation, however, you may consider doing it in the form of a hug because January 21st is also National Hugging Day. Probably created by the same people who made the free hug shirts. But the people who wear those shirts and still crave human contact, making up a new holiday won't help. There's probably a reason why people don't want to touch you. You don't need a holiday just for hugging, you can probably just make a few changes. Maybe people don't want to hug you because you need to shower more often. Maybe people don't want to hug you because your hugs linger too long. Maybe people don't want to hug you because they just saw you hugging a squirrel and they don't want to catch rabies. Speaking of hugging animals, who had the brilliant idea of the bear hug? Why are we teaching children that bears are anything less than terrifying? Just bear with me for a moment. When I was a kid, I learned bear safety. No sudden movements, walk away slowly without turning your back. When to make yourself look big, when to play dead. Take it from me, someone who has never been eaten by a bear before, there should be no point during a bear encounter when you should be hugging the bear. That'd be a very bad idea. We've already got teddy bears that kids cuddle with every night. There's bears on the TV selling us toilet paper and shooting rainbows from their chest. The words bear claw no longer makes us think about our throats being ripped apart by nature's apex predator. Instead, we think about delicious donuts that we dip in our coffee. It's unbearable. We need to take action on this. We need to ensure our children are afraid of bears before it's too late. So the next time little Junior comes up to you and says, Mommy, Daddy, I want a bear hug, you'd better make that bear hug hurt. Squeeze as tight as you can and sink your nails in. Maybe maul them a little with your teeth. True, Junior won't come up to you for hugs anymore, but you're going to enjoy hibernating through the winter with all your newfound peace and quiet. And paying for a bit of therapy is a whole lot better than paying for the medical bills you'd get after Junior tried to hug a grizzly out in the woods. Let's move away from the subject of bear attacks and move on to our next holiday, National Pie Day on January 23rd. Thank God it's finally here. I've been waiting for this day since December 1st, which was also National Pie Day. And then we have National Pie Day on March 14th. I assume the reason we have National Pie Day in January is because people want an excuse to cheat on their diets that they resolve to follow on New Year's. And while I'd like to criticize, my New Year's resolution was to get all my videos up on time, and this is my first one of the New Year's, so maybe I should just keep my big mouth shut. Luckily, even if my big mouth is shut, I'll still be able to communicate because January 23rd is National Handwriting Day. Although truthfully, my handwriting is so messy I still probably couldn't communicate that way. All throughout high school and all throughout college, taking notes was pointless because not even I could understand what they said. This is either notes on Hamlet's soliloquy or possibly a recipe for bundt cake. And it gets even worse when I try to do cursive. When I was in grade 1 art class, I was assigned to create a monster to be my imaginary friend and then write a story and draw pictures of us playing together. I didn't know how to create a monster, so my teacher told me to just doodle. I asked her how to doodle and she says just to pick up the pen and let my hand guide me where it wants to draw. Which is a great description on how to do something. Heart surgery? Just pick up the scalpel and let your hand guide you where it wants to slice. Hunting? Just pick up the gun and let your hand hand guide you where it wants to shoot. Anyways, my hand's guidance led me to just drawing a bunch of scribbles on the page. It looked less like my hand was guiding itself and more like the flying spaghetti monster had reached out his noodly appendage and was trying to recreate his image. When I showed my teacher what I'd come up with, she told me that it was just scribbles, not art. And then she assigned me an imaginary friend. He was a blob with a smiley face, and his name was George. George was also a plant, so he didn't move, so I didn't have to draw him from a bunch of different perspectives. The point is, if you took the imaginary friend I tried to doodle and compared it to a page of my cursive, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I was always stressing about my handwriting and my cursive because I was told that in high school the teachers wouldn't accept anything that wasn't in cursive. And then computers came along and all my work in high school was typed. I was also told that I needed to learn spelling, but then computers came along and I had spell check. I was also told I needed to learn how to do math in my head because I wouldn't always have a calculator with me. Now I can't uninstall the calculator app on my phone even if I tried. Although when I came to school with a calculator watch, my principal took it away, out of principle. So now on National Handwriting Day we can take a look at computers and see how they've helped us. How we never have problems with math, how we never have problems with spelling, how we never have problems with illegible writing. And let me just spit in the computer's face and go back to the good old days. In addition to National Pie Day and National Handwriting Day, December 23rd is also Measure Your Feet Day. My feet are size 14, which means my feet are each about a foot long. If you're not familiar with a foot as the unit of measurement, it's about 30.5 centimeters or 1.5 Subway sandwiches. You know what they say about a guy with big feet, eh? They say, I'm so sorry because having big feet sucks. My feet are so big, other people trip over them. And that's not all. It's almost impossible to find shoes in my size. Work boots don't fit me. Basketball shoes don't fit me. I found bona fide clown shoes that were too small for me. I usually have to buy shoes in size 13, which means I'm hobbling around in pain for a few months until my feet burst through my shoes like each of my toes is reenacting the chest-bursting scene from Alien. Even if my feet don't burst through my shoes, on more than one occasion I've broken a shoehorn trying to contain my monster feet. And it's not just shoes and shoehorns. I rip my socks putting them on because those one-size-fits-all socks have fine print on the bottom that says size 7 to 12. So I've got tight shoes and sore feet, socks with holes in them and broken shoehorns, and I'm still paying extra money because 13 is still a premium size. Simply put, having big feet stinks. After dealing with all that, I need a drink. But don't I always? Luckily for me, January 24th is Beer Can Appreciation Day. I usually appreciate the contents more than the can itself, but I do appreciate beer cans more than I appreciate squirrels. And after appreciating a few cans of beers, hopefully you've worked up some courage because January 24th is also Compliment Day. I'm really glad these 2 days are together because they complement each other so well. To all of you who watch my videos, you are smart, funny, and damn good looking, as well as all the synonyms of those words. And that's not just the beer talking. If you're not a beer drinker, don't worry about spending this week sober because January 25th is National Irish Coffee Day. I was never much of a coffee drinker until I discovered Irish coffee. Now I drink coffee all the time. Although truth be told, I use a bit less coffee and a bit more Irish. How do I take my coffee? Empty. In addition to all the holidays I just said, this week we also have National Peanut Butter Crunch Day on January 20th, as well as National Blonde Brownie Day on January 22nd. Also, I'm not sure what else might be happening this week, but I'm sure that January 25th is not Opposite Day. That's all I have for this week's holiday wrap-up. If you want to be extra smart, extra funny, and extra damn good looking, all you have to do is like this video and subscribe down below. And while you're doing that, be sure to leave a comment down below saying how you'll be celebrating this week, as well as what your favorite movie was from last year so I know what I'm missing. I'm Elijah King saying, you may not like mauling your children, but you just have to grin and bear it. And happy holidays.